Forbes, and we are in my shop right here at Knoll Farm in the Mad River Valley of Vermont. And we're going to make a pretty short video introduction to carving a spoon. And if you found this because you're hoping to learn all about how to carve a spoon, you're going to be a little disappointed, because this is primarily going to be a review for people who have been through Knoll Farm, been through our experience here, and know the basics. Steps that we're going to do here are four. The first is drawing the spoon on this beautiful piece of wood and getting the what I call the front profile. And then the second phase is doing the side profile. The third phase is cutting out the bowl, and that's typically mostly with the crooked knife. And then the fourth phase is sanding that beautiful spoon and oiling it. One other thing that might be helpful is tape. It's good to tape your thumbs, because they'll typically the things that might get cut a little bit. I think you're all going to remember that this spoon is sitting in the tree like that, okay? So the first thing you do is draw that spoon on there. So I'm just going to stencil it on there. Great. So that's step number one. I've basically just drawn the spoon on there. Now I'm gonna use a hatchet, because I have one and I know how to use it, and it's just going to speed up the process a little bit. But you could easily, again, do all of this just with these two tools right here. Start down low, work your way up, and then try to take off. Now, if you remember, we're always cutting green wood, okay? Which means fresh wood that we cut or wood that we soak, because carving green wood is the way to go. A lot easier, and it's going to let you end up with a much better spoon. So I'm going to do a few more strokes with the hatchet, and then I'm going to walk you over to the shaving horse and show you how I do that. This is just a mechanism for holding the wood and making it easy to remove wood. So I'm putting it in the shaving horse. If I can get a grip on it. Yep. Put weight on my feet. You remember all this, and then it's just nice drawing the wood away. So you can see right here, I overdid it. I cut a little bit edge off, so I'll just redraw the spoon on there. But the idea is to clamp it in that shaving horse and take wood off. Yeah, there we go. Great. So I've been hatcheting this and working on the shaving horse, getting it to this shape. So whatever tools you use to sort of rough out the shape of the spoon, whether it's a hatchet like I've been doing, or the draw knife, you want to get it about so done, you know, not right down to the line, because the detail work is best done, I think, with a straight knife. So basically from here on out, I'm going to be using just this straight knife and this crooked knife to finish up this hopefully really beautiful spoon. A little refresher on how to use these straight knives. It's all really about intention and control. The first thing is, really want to urge you to be carving low on the blade, so not up like that, but low on the base of the blade, and that gives you more control. I'm right-handed, so I'm holding the spoon in my left hand. I brace it against my chest, and for most of these strokes, like along the neck of the spoon, I'm using the low end of the blade and I'm carving toward myself. The reality is that you have more control and more ability to be safe and get the kind of cuts you want this way. And there are other places where you're going to have to, for example, at the top of the spoon, where you're going to have to be pushing away like that. And in those cases, I'm using my thumb of my left hand to really be the lever and the strength. So here's an example of where I've hit a place in the grain where the knife is binding. And so all you do, flip it over. I'm maintaining the same position. I'm holding that spoon with my left hand. I'm carving with my right. Just come at it from the other direction. One of the places that's always a challenge for me is the top. You know, what do you do here at the top of the spoon? My right hand is just holding that straight knife, but it's my thumb that's really pushing. Put a little bit more effort into getting all my wood right down to that line, and then we'll call it a success. Phase one, step one is almost done. Here's the finished spoon that I'm aiming for, and that's called the top profile, and here's the side profile. So one of the things that seems to be really beautiful to a lot of people about a spoon is that swoop. And the idea behind that is generally that the top of the handle, or the bottom of the handle is higher than the top of the bowl of the spoon. So that allows that spoon to sit, you know, really comfortably in one's hand. I find for beginning carvers, it was really true for myself as well, that it was helpful to envision where the spoon was and draw it on there, and then to repeat that process multiple times as I'm carving the spoon. But there comes a time, and I think we're pretty close to it with this spoon, where I carve the lines away, and at that point the gracefulness of the spoon should be pretty close, and I'm really working at that point just from eye. Okay, we're almost at the third part. It's time to do the bowl. And carving out the bowl, I like to draw lines on that the same way we did for the other sections. And the reason for that is the whole process of making a spoon is releasing that spoon from the wood. And to do that, you have to visualize the spoon. I'm going to draw the lip, and that also helps me to really shape it. So we've taught you in the past to use a crooked knife. With the crooked knife, you really want to go diagonally across the grain. I tend to spend a lot of time now looking at it from its various perspectives, and you hold it up to the blue sky and squint, and you can see the profile, and the profile reveals where there are bumps, and I'll keep a pen close at hand, and when I see one of those, I'll actually just mark it on the spoon. Okay, folks, I think that our spoon is almost done. I'm pretty much done with the third phase of this, and what really remains for this spoon is the question of sanding and oiling. I like to cut little squares for each grit so that I can wrap that little square of sandpaper around my finger, or just, you know, grab it easily and be able to use it that way. I've got 6 different grits here, starting at 80, 120, 220, 300, 400, 600. On video, this is going to be just a couple of seconds. In real life, I'm going to take maybe 15, 20, 25 minutes with each one of those grits. The final piece of it is oiling. And the oiling is really important because it protects the wood. So what I've used for years and years is walnut oil, because it's a beautiful, natural, edible oil, and it's really stable. I will oil that spoon once the minute I'm done sanding, and then later in the day I'll oil it again, and then I'll oil it 2 or 3 times a day for the first week of having that spoon. And then I'll oil it once a week for the next month, and then after that I might just oil it once a year.